Hey y'all, welcome to BA's World. I'm BA, and today we're going to start the labor and delivery story time. I actually did good because I told y'all 2 days. I'm back, and I'm back 2 days later. We're just gonna start where we stopped. So basically, I had packed up all my stuff. I left the doctor's office, packed up all my stuff, and then we went and checked in. Of course, they had already called and told them we were coming, and they had me labeled as a 35 weeker. Basically, either that Wednesday prior I can't remember if my day was Wednesday or Saturday, I hit 35 weeks. But like in the system, that's what I was labeled as. So when I went to different departments, they were like, oh, you're the 35 weeker. That's how they referred to me. So I had already bought like the stuff I needed. When we went to dinner, the weekend before, when I posted a picture, we went out to dinner. Right before that or after, I went to Target. I had got a lot of gift cards from the baby shower, so I went and bought like pajamas, gowns, leggings, just all the stuff I was gonna need to be comfortable at the hospital. So I was pretty prepared. I just had to like pack all my stuff, and I had the baby stuff packed already. Okay, so get to the hospital. The first thing they do once I get checked in, I go to, I keep wanting to say postpartum, but it's not postpartum, it's antepartum. That's what it is, antepartum. So that's where you go before you go to labor and delivery. So I go there. All my nurses were really, really good. I loved eat. There was one, I think she was just having a bad day. I don't know, she was real dry compared to all the other ones, which I know they're human and they have bad days. So it is what it is. But overall, my experience at the hospital went like very well. So my first nurse, she gave me my first steroid shot. Remember, this for the baby's lungs. And I remember feeling like my stomach tightening because at this time I didn't think I had been having any contractions. So when they did have to put me on the monitor, they didn't put me on any fluids or anything like that. But they put me on the monitor like to check on him. So I was only on the monitor for like 30 minutes or an hour. And once they thought they were satisfied with how everything looked, they took me off. And like I said, I still had on my regular clothes. So I felt like, like a real tightened feeling in my stomach. And I was like, ooh, I was thinking like, what's that? And I look over at the screen and she was like, you felt that? And I said, yeah. She was like, you just had a contraction. And I was like, oh, wow, already? She was like, yeah. So I thought that was kind of crazy because, mind you, my due date is still like 5 weeks away. But now I've checked into the hospital and I'm having a contraction. So I was like, okay. I mean, I definitely know it was time for me to get ready to give birth. So that first night, I get the shot, and then they just pretty much getting like my meds list, like my vitamins that I was taking. I cannot tell you the name. No, I don't want to say it wrong, but there was a vitamin that my doctor had me ordering off of Amazon to help with blood pressure. This was like before I started having gestational hypertension. It was supposed to help with a preeclampsia. So like some doctors would tell you to take the low dose of aspirin, and I actually started doing that too at a certain point when I started having the blood pressure problems. Sorry, there was cars driving by. So yeah, I was telling them all of that stuff, and of course they went on to put me on the blood pressure pills because that was the main issue that I was having, was my blood pressure. It was just going up and down, up and down. So then the next day, it's basically the same. Like I can have a regular diet, order my food. One of my good friends, she actually came and braided my hair because I wasn't prepared at the time. So I had like a silk press, and so she came up to the hospital, braided my hair. Was that on Friday or Saturday? I think that was on Friday. I can't remember. But okay, so Thursday we're in the hospital on Thursday. So Thursday I get I'm going like a steroid shot, and then Friday, I get a steroid shot. And I'm also just taking like my regular vitamins and all that stuff. Okay, so Saturday is when all the fun is supposed to begin. So we moved to labor and delivery. And before I go, they're kind of giving me a rundown. And they're like, tonight we're going to give you Cervidil to, loosen up your cervix, because like I said, I wasn't dilated. If I was, it was just like a centimeter, barely. And they were like, tonight we just want you to focus on getting rest and relaxing. And that's how they're talking. It's just gonna be just gonna relax. We're gonna give you the Cervidil, and then, because tomorrow it's probably gonna be a long day. So I had that in my mind. Okay, rest, relax, all of that. So we get there, and I guess I started to get nervous because, they start putting me in a wheelchair and they push me down to labor and delivery. So it was like nervous and excitement. If I have pictures, I'll insert some pictures randomly throughout the video. So we go to the room, and as soon as I get in there, my blood pressure had been good like the last 2 days. And as soon as I get in there, my blood pressure shoot up. So I think it was my nerves, because I was probably getting, nervous in anticipation, not knowing what to anticipate. But yeah. So the nurse was like, girl, she was like, you've been doing good all this time. They've been bragging on your blood pressure, and then you get in here with me and your blood pressure shoot up. So they give me the blood pressure pills, and they're just trying to get me to relax and stuff. So later on that night, so my doctor comes, or did he come the day before? He might have came Friday night. I think, he came Friday night. I think he gave them directions. So this is not his, how doctors have like their main, I got this thing in my ear, probably talking super loud. Hopefully I wasn't talking too loud. But how doctors have like their main hospital. So the hospital that I had to go to was not his main hospital, but I had to go there because of my job. So he came, and he's trying to let them know how he does things or whatever, and he gives them directions. So they were supposed to give me the Cervidil at 8 p.m. and I was supposed to keep it in until 8 a.m. That process was I'll say it was a little uncomfortable. I won't say it was painful, but it was uncomfortable, because I think it's like I don't know if it's a suppository, but it's something they pushed up in there. So my nurse came in, and she, she pushed it up in there, and then she was like, I'm gonna get my I guess it's like her partner or whatever, a nurse to help her out. So I'm gonna get her to come and make sure it's in there good. And that girl literally came in there and was like, and I was like, good grief, like, what the crap? I mean, she's just like jamming it in there, making sure it's in there good. And that was a little awkward, because it was, it was a bit much, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it hurt, it just was a little uncomfortable. It was just a little uncomfortable. So we get done with that. And like, mind you, they kept saying tonight it's gonna be about relaxing. We just want you to rest, and tonight we're just gonna get some rest. And I really was thinking I was gonna get some rest. I don't know who keep calling me. I didn't get any rest. I didn't get any rest. None. Okay? When that stuff kicked in, and it kicked in quick, I was having full-blown contractions. Like full-blown contractions. I was in so much pain. I mean, so much pain. And my husband, he was already having to come over, and like, when they would come, like, rub my back and all this stuff, because it was rough. And I'm like, I thought y'all said rest, relaxation. It is none of that. I am in pain. I am uncomfortable, and I don't know is this normal? Does this usually happen to people when they get Cervidil? Because no. So I started asking them, like, okay, I'm in distress. Clearly, is my baby okay? So initially the nurse was like, yeah, he's fine, we're watching him on the screen, but when you get to a certain point, you know, like, always speak up. Like, you have to advocate for yourself, or you need to have you need to have somebody there with you, like your husband, your mom, grandma, baby daddy, whoever, best friend, somebody there that will listen. And if you don't have the energy or don't feel like you can stand up for yourself, make sure you get somebody to speak up for you. And I didn't feel like he was okay, because this is not okay. This is not okay. So I eventually asked the girl, like, is there anything you give me for pain? Because this is rough. Like, there is no epidural going on. There's none of that going on, because they're just supposed to be loosening up my cervix. That's it. Which is like, inducing labor. But I don't have was I hooked up to any fluids? I think I was. I was hooked up to fluids. At that point I was. And I skipped a lot, because they had a hard time. This before we, like, right when I get in the hospital, I forgot about them having to take my blood. And so they went on and put the I don't know what you call it, but the needle and whatever other piece into my hand, so when it was time for me to get fluids, they wouldn't have to prick me again. But when I tell you, it took them forever. Like, my hand and my arms was just beat up. Like, they had this person tried and that person tried, and then they had to, and I'm guessing maybe it's because I was swollen, I'm not sure, but it took like 4 or 5 people to finally get my vein set up for my IV. So I was all beat up, like my hands, in awkward places, like places I never had an IV at all. I can't remember. It was somewhere in here. I think it was on top of my hand. Of course, they tried like my arm. It was just crazy. It was a lot. I forgot all about that part, but that was, oof, I don't wish that on anybody. I'm sure a lot of people experience it. But okay, let's go back. We're in the hospital in a lot of pain. So I asked for pain medicine, and I think they gave me like 2 options. And I asked for I don't even know if, I mean, it's a drug, everybody knows, but it's also one that's misused a lot. But I asked for that, and I don't know if it actually helps with pain, or if it just makes you like a little like loopy, a little high, so that you don't pay attention to the pain. Whatever it did, it helped, but only for a short period of time. So I actually had like 2 doses of that. And then I just ended up saying, telling the nurse, I was like, I can't do this. I even told her, like, I just need a C-section. And she was like, no, Mom, you're just getting started. You can't give up so quick. But I'm like, if I'm just getting started and if it hurts like this, like, there's no way, y'all, excuse me, there's no way I'm gonna make it through labor, because what is this? Shoot. So she was very nice. She was very positive. So mind you, I had asked them about my baby, like, is my baby good? Because I'm definitely not good right now, but is he good? So up until a certain point, they telling me, yeah, he's good. All of a sudden, they come in there, flip me on my side, put the oxygen over my mouth, and they're watching him, like, because something is going on, because I'm in distress, so I'm sure he's in distress. So they turn me to a different side. They got the oxygen on, and I'm freaking out, but I'm thinking, I know it. Like, there's no way I could be going through this much pain, and he's just in there, la, 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 la. That is, like, usually not the case at all. At all. Usually when you're in distress, they're in distress. I mean, yeah, they are. So, like I said, I advocated for myself, and I told them I cannot do this anymore. So whatever progress we made up until this point, that's just gonna have to be it. You got to get this thing up out of me. Call my doctor, tell him I cannot, no, Because I kept looking at the clock. And I was like, okay, 12 hours, 8 to 8. I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. But, oh, my gosh, I couldn't do it. It hurt so bad. Oh, it hurt so bad. And, so with the whatever was going on with my baby, which I still don't know exactly what was going on with him, if his heartbeat was dropping, I just know it was something, because the way they flipped me over, and baby, I was not light at all. And the nurse that I had, the girl that worked with her, she seemed like she was in pretty good shape, like she worked out and stuff, because she just come in there, she was petite, but she was strong. I mean, she just turned me to, yeah, they got it done. So she was like, so you're sure? I was like, I'm sure. Call him, tell him I cannot do this, get this thing up out of me, and we just gonna have to move forward whatever way we have to. So they take it out, and I can't remember, but I did get a little bit of sleep, a little bit somehow. So the nurse that comes in the next morning, so now that was Saturday night, so now we're at Sunday. Sunday is October 29th. Her personality was so chill. Like, I know she wasn't on drugs, and it worked, but her personality, it just gave like high, like, and it had to be like a natural high, but it worked for me because I needed somebody with that type of vibe. She's very calm, and she'd been doing it for like 20 years. So when she came in, she was like, yeah, asked me how I'm feeling. She checked me and stuff. And then she was like, yeah, it wasn't looking too good when I came in. Now, I don't know exactly what that meant, but I do know that my baby was in distress. And I'm sure they didn't want me to get too worked up. But she was like, it wasn't looking good. And da, da, da. So she checks me. So now I'm just kind of chilling, waiting for my doctor to come to break my water. And so he comes, I think it was between like 2 and 3 he came. And I'm still having contractions. They're not as bad as they were, but they're bad. Like, they're getting like, yeah, they were going, like, you can see on the screen how bad the contraction is. And I mean, they were going up. And yeah, it was not fun at all. So when he came and broke my water, and he's talking, like I said, it's around 3. And I think they said I was like 2 or 3 centimeters dilated. So I was like, well, I want the epidural now. And he was like, he was like, you want it now? Like, I don't think you should get it now. I was like, I need it now. I had a hard night, a miserable night. Right now, it's not going great. It's not like last night, but my, of course, like, I'm dilating more. So my contractions are, you know, they're up there. I was in pain. So, and they put the, what is it called? Some kind of, I want to say it's an internal ultrasound. They put something in there, and they had to give me, y'all, I'm going blank. They put some kind of ultrasound in there so they could really monitor what was going on. So I couldn't get up anymore. Like, there was no walking around and nothing like that. And oh, excuse me. So he thinks about it, and he's like, okay, it's fine. Go ahead, get the epidural, because he had to think about, I had a horrible night. Like, I am tired. Last night, it's like, last night from all the way to now, I've been in labor. So there was no resting and relaxing. There was no resting and relaxing for me. I need an epidural so I can rest and relax before this baby comes. So I get the epidural. That process was, okay, I'm back. I had a call. So I think I stopped at the epidural, right? So I get the epidural, and it went well. Like, that whole process went well. It just was, the thing was just waiting until I wasn't having a contraction. And like I said, the contractions they were on fire at that point. So I get that, it goes smooth, and I'm just waiting for, you know, like my body to go numb or whatever it's supposed to do. So at some point that happens and I get some sleep. I mean, I went to sleep. And my mama, she said she could tell that it was working because she was watching the screen with the contractions on it, and I wasn't budging, so I couldn't feel it, which was great. It was great because I had felt enough. Ooh, that feeling is something, it's just, you can't describe it. I don't think you can really compare it to anything else. I wouldn't compare it to period cramps. I mean, it's in a category of its own. It's just what it is, and it doesn't feel good, especially when they're that intense. So I get some sleep, so it's around like 5ish, and the nurse comes back in and she was like, let me check you. And so she checks, and she was like, girl, she was like, I think you ready to have this baby. She was like, let me get somebody to check behind me, but I'm pretty sure you're ready to have the baby. So the other person come in, they check, and they're like, yeah, like, you ready to have the baby, you ready to push. So then they call my doctor. Y'all, mind you, I tell you, this is not his main hospital. Like, he's usually at a different hospital. They're not far from each other, but this is just not his main location. When I tell you, it felt like it took that man an hour to get there. I was just praying. I said, Lord, please let this man hurry up, because my baby's heart rate, I guess as the contractions were still coming, but I'm not feeling them, they're affecting him. So I can hear his heart rate like slowing down. It would go like boom, 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 and then it would speed back up, boom, 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 and then boom, boom. And I was just like, please hurry up. And my mom was just like, relax. It's like, I can't relax. Like, I'm looking at the screen, I can hear my baby's heartbeat on the monitor, and I'm just like freaking out. I'm like, sir, please, where are you? Like, why is it taking you so long to get here? Please hurry up. So he finally comes, and like I said, he's a very seasoned doctor, and he's used to like a certain thing. So when he get in there, he's kind of like, what is this? Like, where's my stuff at? Where is my stuff at? Like, I need you to put this right here, because we gonna do this, and then we do this, and when we're done, we just gotta move this. And eventually it didn't take long, and I really didn't have to. I pushed, I think maybe a total of 3 times, y'all, and I was ready. YouTube had me ready, because I've been watching all those labor delivery videos of how to push. I was ready to push, and the only thing was the last push, I didn't need to push that much, so I did end up with a tear. But they should have told me, they said when we tell you to push, but they should have said, okay, you're right there, so this next push, just do just a little push, because he's right there. Like, don't push hard, because they didn't say that. So when they said, when we tell you to push, they told me, and shoot, I'm giving it all I got, you know. Well, I didn't need all that, so I had to get sewn back up. So he came on out, and guess what? He was a little man. He was 4 pounds and 9 ounces, and he was 16.34 inches. So he was a little man, and they caught it out. I was like, wow. And they put him like on my chest, and he was just, I mean, he was like this was him. Because, you know, of course, his little legs was curled up. And so I was like, oh, he is small. But he was like clean. Like, to me, I know it was time for him to come out. I don't know if how clean he came out had something to do with what was going on in my body. But when I say he came out clean, like, he had little specks of blood on him. That's it. Like, there was none of the white, I don't know what it's called, but it was none of that. Like, he was clean. He didn't hardly have anything on him. So I'm just like, yeah, it was time for him to come out. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but so he was 4 pounds and 9 ounces. So 4 pounds and 8 ounces automatically goes to the NICU. So they were like, he barely made it, mom, and da-da-da. And so the gown that I ended up having on for delivery wasn't really ideal for skin to skin, because it was like a muumuu, basically. Excuse me. And so getting him in there, like, I really needed somewhere I could like open it up. So I ended up just letting his dad do skin to skin. Plus I was getting sewn up. So my doctor, he was sewing up, but he was kind of looking funny. And I remember him being like, I don't think I got it all the way out. Yeah, I don't think I got it all the way out. And so the nurse was like, do you want me to go get the ultrasound machine? And he was like, yeah, that would be great. So he did I guess he put it in there. And basically what was going on in there is my 6 centimeter fibroid had attached to my placenta. And that's what was making it age and, you know, messing with the room in there for my baby and all of that. So there was a lot of crazy stuff going on in there. And my doctor had this little thing that he said that basically, like, my baby, everything that he went through, like, he was a soldier. Like, he's gonna be fine, because he had already been through so much in there. Like, anything outside, he's gonna do fine. He gonna do real good. So because of that, I had to go get I guess they call it like a DNC, or because they had to go back in. So I had to lay back down. They ended up giving me some more. They didn't stick me again. I don't think. They just put some more of the medicine, like the epidural medicine, in my in the needle, so I could, you know, make sure I stay numb down there. And I didn't feel anything. I was just exhausted and I was freezing. So I pretty much, after I delivered, after he sewed the tear up, then I was back off to the OR. And I remember talking to some of the people, because they were calling me the 35 weeker. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember one of the guys in the OR was like, you're the 35 weeker, right? Like, you've been here for a while. And I was like, yeah, I have, because at this point I came on Thursday and it's Sunday. So I had my baby on Sunday. So he gets that all out. That part to me is just crazy, because so many things could have gone wrong with that. Like, a fibroid attached to the placenta, it just sounds crazy. And I'm glad my doctor was as seasoned as he is and experienced, and, you know, listened to his intuition. Everything that was telling him, like, let me check, I don't feel confident. Like, that's what his face was saying, like, I need to go back in there. I gotta go back in there, because I didn't get it all. And I know he was on the time. You know, you can't just take your time because they don't want the medicine to wear off. So he had to kind of do what he had to do, and then give me more medicine, take me back to the OR. So I come back. I think I was I know I was out of it. And I remember being super, super cold. Like, you know, like the jitters or shivers, whatever you want to call it. But I remember seeing, like, my my little push gift stuff. You know, I didn't want nothing, whatever, because we went on a trip, and we, you know, I just wanted to feel loved, and that's what I felt.
And then by following it with the formula as he's sucking, then that
it was what I wanted. But it was cute. Balloons, cookies, fruit. It was cute. It was a cute setup to wake up to, for sure. And so let's see. So my baby is doing good. I didn't know, like, I didn't know what to expect. This is my first baby, so I didn't know that sometimes you have to help them eat. And I'm guessing it was worse because he came 5 weeks early. So they're teaching us, like, how to, you know, massage their cheeks and try to get him to eat more. And make sure we wrap him up real good because he's little. He was really little. And what else? That was really it when it came to him. So that night, I go to sleep and I wake up early, like just like shaking. I mean, I could not stop shaking. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe if I get up, like I go to the bathroom, surely I'm not gonna be shaking while I'm walking. Yeah, I guess because I never experienced it before. So I got up and I started walking, y'all, and whew, it was scary. I've never shook like that uncontrollably in my life. So I went to use the bathroom, and then I get back to the bed and I called a nurse. I was like, something is wrong. Like I'm freezing. I can't stop shaking. Like something's wrong. So she came in again. Like I had some really good nurses. So she came in and like she went and got me like 4 or 5 blankets, threw it on top of me, took my temperature. I think I had a fever, and called my doctor. So I had an infection. So my body was trying to fight off. Y'all, excuse me. I guess y'all say I'm always yawning. I'm trying to get these videos in any way I can though. But probably with everything that was going on, my platelets, when I looked at some of my numbers like after the fact, my body was trying, but my body was fighting hard. So I ended up on, I believe it was like 3 antibiotics. And that was from that Sunday, well, no, early Monday morning. And then I finally got to leave Wednesday. And then I had a whole, they sent antibiotics home with me. But while I was in the hospital, I was getting antibiotics like every 4 hours. And some of them felt okay, and some of them it was painful. I don't know if it's the way they had it set up. Like I said, I had like one of the IVs was like right here. I don't know if it's how they had that set up and it was just awkward, or if it was just the medicine itself. But it was not comfortable at all. And then it's set on a certain time, so when it would go off, it would be beeping like beep, beep, beep. And I have a newborn in the room. So I started sending him to the nursery while I would get my antibiotics, because I was getting them 4 times a day. So on Wednesday, which is the day we're supposed to go home, mind you, I've been there since Thursday, my baby had passed all his tests. Oh, I just remember how heartbroken I was, because he's little bitty, y'all. So he passed his car seat test. He had his circumcision. What other thing did he have to do? I thought it was something else. But he had passed everything, so he was good to go. So I sent him that morning to the nursery, and I remember some hours going by, and I was like, hold up, we need to go get the baby, because why they haven't brought him back? So I told my husband, I had just told him to go get him, and they called, and they were like, hi, we're gonna have to send him to the NICU because his temperature has dropped. And so that was the main thing. Oh, they did like the is it like a blood sugar test? So blood sugar test, because he was so small, I think that's like a big thing to make sure he can maintain whatever you gotta maintain for that. And then the car seat test and circumcision. But when he got back from the circumcision, he wasn't really eating, and they were really big on, he needs to eat this amount, like this, you need to like do the best you could do to get him to eat this amount. And it was a struggle after the circumcision, because that's just like anybody else. Sometimes you get shot, so you get something done and you just don't feel like eating. So it was the same for him. But of course, then I was having like regrets, like, man, maybe I should have waited on circumcision. He was so small, it was probably too much for him, all that stuff he had to go through. But anyways, his temperature dropped. So they call and say we have to take him to the NICU. So I was heartbroken. Like, I was bawling. I didn't like, I didn't went through all of this. The day that we're going home, he's going to the NICU. So I have to go home without my baby. And I know, I think it was after the fact they told me that you can sometimes request an extra day when your baby is in the NICU. Like, they'll give you one extra day that you really don't have to be there, but you can be there because your baby is in the NICU. But I don't think I knew about that. And at that point, I think I was tired of being hooked up to the fluids and the antibiotics and all that stuff. But I was sad. I was so sad. I remember the drive home just as vividly, looking out the window, just bawling, leaving the hospital, because I'm just like, really? But of course you have to snap out of it, because first of all, that's one of the best NICUs that I mean, it's highly rated. I don't know if it's just in the state of Alabama. I feel like just around. The people there are genuine. It seems like they genuinely care about the babies. And once I went down there, of course, it was emotional for both me and my husband. Going down there, seeing him hooked up, because I guess because they're so small, they have to put their IVs in the side of their head, like a lot of times. And my baby had a big vein right here, and that's where they had the needle at. And the lady prepared me, but it still was just like, I'm just gonna tell you, Mom, his IV is gonna be in the side of his head. It's gonna look, might look a little whatever, but he's fine. And I just remember looking like, man, like, of course you start thinking, what could I have done better? Da, da, da. But I had to just be an adult and realize that if something was going on with my baby, he needed to go to the NICU, because I'm a first-time mom. There's no guarantee that I would have caught that his temperature was lower than it was supposed to be, right? So eventually I just was like, of course I still got emotional, but I was breastfeeding, I was pumping. So I started using the pumping to like keep me feeling positive and motivated. So I'm like, well, I'm pumping for my baby so he can grow, and I'm doing my part. And every visitation, like every visit, I was there. I don't think I missed. If I missed one, it was just one, and he was only there 5 days. So my heart goes out to all the moms who spend months and months and months in the NICU, because my heart just goes out to y'all. But I know for the most part, it's worth it. You want your baby to be healthy and everything. But I can only imagine how it is on your mental, your emotions, just being postpartum, just all of that. But that's how I shifted my emotions, because he was small and the breast milk was going to help him grow. And that was my part. That's what I was gonna do, and I was gonna be there every visit that we could be there, and take my breast milk up there just as proud as I wanted to be. But he was only there. He was there from Wednesday to the following Sunday. And I remember, like, originally they were saying like Tuesday or Wednesday. They're like Monday or Tuesday. So I kind of just had my mindset like, okay, we almost there, Monday or Tuesday. And then Sunday, like afternoon, they called and they were like, hey, Dr. So-and-so said that he's very impressed with him and he wants to send him to the house. She said just like that. And I was like, today? And she was like, yes, ma'am, as soon as you can get here. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So I told my husband, and like we hugged. It felt like for like 10 minutes we both just crying like, wow, we really about to be able to bring our baby home. So we went, and he was so little, so we ran to Walmart to get the little car seat headrest thing, so that his head wouldn't be flopping everywhere, especially since he was so small. And I might put a picture here. I might blur out his face, but I mean, he was little then, so it really didn't matter. But just so you could see like how tiny he was in that car seat. And but yeah, so when we were able to pick him up, he had actually still dropped 2 ounces, which they normally do, but he had gained 1 ounce back. So he was 4 pounds and 7 ounces. So he was still pretty small. I brought home a tiny little man. But he started growing fast. That breast milk was not playing around. By the time we went to the first doctor's appointment, which was 3 days after he got home, he was already, I think he was 6 something. And then the next time we went back, he was almost 8. So she was just like, wow, he's doing great. Yeah. So I mean, and from then on, he's been doing just fine. You wouldn't even know he was a preemie. You wouldn't know he was 4 pounds. He's just as big and heavy and solid as he wants to be now. And yeah, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I'm missing? I don't think so. I'm just blessed to have been able to make it through the whole process with everything that was going on, and for him to have been able to make it through. And I mean, other than his temperature dropping, I gave birth to a healthy baby who could breathe on his own. He was never hooked up to oxygen. He never had a feeding tube, nothing like that. And it could have just went so many different ways. So I was very blessed to get the outcome that I did get. So yeah, if y'all have any comments or like things that you went through, similar things, or just, you know, your labor and delivery experience, feel free to comment below. I did still have, before I got to go home, they were still trying to get my blood pressure down. So I was on blood pressure pills throughout that process, the whole process, to get my blood pressure back to normal. And it did end up going back to normal. So yeah, y'all, that is really the end of my pregnancy story. I was trying to think, am I missing anything? But that is it. Like I said, I gave birth. I conceived when I was 33, and I gave birth 2 months before I turned 34. And I was overweight. I wasn't like morbidly obese, but I was definitely overweight. I could stand to drop a few for sure. But overall, I did go through some things, but it could have been a lot worse. So if you are a mom over 30, like, comment below, like, how do you feel about having a baby in your 30s? Do you wish you had had the baby earlier, or are you just like grateful to have a child? Do you feel like you're missing out on anything? I don't, honestly. I don't. I can't really see me having my baby any earlier than I did. My 20s were great. I moved around, I went and traveled, and I still will, but I don't have any like, oh man, I wish I had have done this before I traveled. No, I don't have any of those feelings, because I did so much before I had a child. And then it goes both ways, because people that have their kids younger, their kids are growing up. Like, I just went to a game the other day, and one of my classmates, her son is graduating high school. And I've had a couple classmates who have kids who are graduating high school. So their kids are like getting on out the house. So they don't have as much responsibility as they had years before. So they can kind of like move and groove how they want to now, because their kids are getting older. So I feel like it's perks to both, having them younger and having them older. It just, I guess, depends on the person. But yeah, y'all, like the video. I want to thank y'all, because I have 22 subscribers, and I think that's pretty good, because this is my 3rd video. I think really in total I've been on YouTube for barely a month, maybe a month, and I have posted some shorts, but this is my 3rd YouTube video. So I think 22 subscribers is pretty good. We're just gonna keep on pushing, okay?